I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And when I was younger, I used to think that this poem was about choosing the right path for yourself. But I've since learned that, like life, this poem is much more complicated than that. Obviously, I'm using the metaphor of two paths for sort of two ways of handling toxic busyness, being caught up in it or taking a mindful path. However, before we go on, I want to point out a couple of things. The first thing I want to point out is that the poet is never really at ease with his decision. You can see here that he's telling this with a sigh. You might also notice that the title of the poem does not refer to the path that he took. It refers to the path that he did not take. To me, this means that other road weighs heavily in the back of his mind. Why do I bring this up? I think those of us searching for a quick solution, for peace of mind or whatever, are not likely to find it very often, because that's not how the human mind works. That's not how human experience works. The grass is always greener on the other path. And if you're like me, when you're rushed and you're overworked, you really wish you had a moment to be mindful, to take some time for yourself. But sometimes when I'm taking time for myself, there's a shadow in the back of my mind reminding me of all those things that I could be doing, and I'm not doing. So I guess I'll just say to you, in my opinion, this isn't about choosing the right path, but about being okay with whatever path you happen to be on at the time. So what is the road most traveled? Well, I saw this online a couple of weeks ago and I laughed and laughed because it's so funny. And then I was horrified that I was laughing because it's not that funny. And what strikes me about this little meme is that it's funny to many of us because many of us can identify with it because stress is normalized in our society. Busyness is glamorous. Busyness is a sign of success. And this whole sense of stressing is indicative of our perception of time because we are an impatient society. Even when we're seeking peace of mind, this is kind of us. Well, it's kind of me anyway. So I don't know about you, but nobody sums up my feelings better than Dr. Seuss, who wrote this about time. I love this for so many reasons, not just because it's in 12:8, but because Seuss is poking fun of the fact that our perception of time is psychological. We all know that time drags if we're caught in traffic or stuck in a waiting room. Time flies if we're under a deadline or if we're cleaning the house right before company comes for dinner. And this idea of always being in a hurry was described by author James Glick as hurry sickness. And I love the idea of having hurry sickness as a virus that maybe I need to get over. Okay, so embedded within this webinar are 8 what I call mindful nuggets. These are mindfulness practices for people who don't have time. So if you are new to the practice of mindfulness, I hope this will kind of be like a gateway drug. If you're not new to mindfulness, maybe you can take away maybe some different perspectives. So this one I call right here, right now. So if you would like to play along and practice with me, what I would ask you to do is stop everything you're doing. Just stop, look up from your screen, and simply notice your surroundings where you happen to be right here, right now. You may be in a very familiar place. I'm at my desk at work. It's a very familiar place, but I'm looking around to see if I can observe things that I don't normally pay attention to.